I'm General Glenn Walters, United States Marine Corps retired, and I serve as the president of the Citadel. I'd like to take a moment and discuss your choice of colleges. Most of you have many options. The Citadel is not for everybody, and very different opportunity for most of the schools you're likely to be considering. It isn't easy, but the rewards are great, from the superior education and leadership training to the lifelong relationships you'll build. The Citadel is a unique experience. We rank as one of the top colleges in the nation, and it's proven our graduates are more successful than just about any other school's alumni. So if you're ready to commit yourself to a great journey with immense rewards for those who complete it, I look forward to your joining our ranks. Good luck and see you soon. Our mighty Citadel. These words have a special meaning because they make us think about what's special about our college. And they make us think about the task at hand and what we can do to preserve what is special about this college, while also taking the steps necessary to make sure that this college and what it stands for will stand forever. We are a mighty Citadel, with a sacred mission to educate and develop principled leaders for all walks of life. The values-based education we offer here is more important now than it ever has been. To stand forever, we must preserve the traditions that make the Citadel such a special place. The traditions of service, challenge, resilience, and camaraderie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Citadel's Virginia Candidate Webinar. My name is Seamus Gillen, and I'm a member of the Citadel's class of 1996, and I serve as Associate Director of Admissions. I would also like to introduce my counterpart, Josh Simon, class of 2008, who will be assisting on the technical side of tonight's event. Virginia has a very unique and storied connection to the Citadel. Since our founding in 1842, the mission of the Citadel has been to forge and deliver principled leaders into the world, whether as commissioned officers in our 4 service branches, or as leaders in business or education. Virginia and cadets have and continue to play a vital role in this calling. Tonight, we have a variety of panelists joining us who will share their individual experiences regarding the tremendous impact the Citadel's leadership and academic development models have had upon their own personal and professional growth. Topics of discussion for the evening include a brass tacks review of our institutional results and outcomes. What do you receive when you put $1 on the table at the Citadel? We will also explore the transformative nature of the Citadel's first year. We call it the knob year, and the 3 years of leadership development that follow. We're going to dive into the cadet experience as a whole and the amazing city that is Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to shed light upon the physical activity here at the Citadel to include Division I athletics, club sports, social clubs, as well as other organizational opportunities that are available to our cadets. We're going to dive into the Citadel's core ethos of servant leadership, how this critical concept plays out in the Corps of Cadets through community service, and how it plays out through our alumni across the nation. And lastly, we're going to share how the Citadel's passionate alumni network supports current cadets, graduates, and the college. Virginia has 2 very important Citadel clubs, and one of them is stationed right there in D.C. And we're going to dive headfirst into that club and their activities that are supporting our cadets a little bit later in the program tonight. Tonight's program will conclude with a question and answer segment that our guest panelists will participate in, and that is to conclude firmly at the end of the program. All of our viewers tonight are encouraged to write your questions in the comments section via the comments tab at the right of your screen so that our guest panelists can field them during that Q&A. And lastly, as promised, at the end of tonight's event, we'll be putting up a QR code for our viewers to scan. It will take you to a simple form that will ensure accurate delivery of your Citadel pennant. Josh and I will be texting all of our participants the direct link to secure your Citadel pennants in the event you happen to be watching this event on your phone. Now, let's dive in and meet our panelists. First up, we have Private Cadet. We have Cadet Private Mercer Howard, a Palmetto Battery 4th classman, Citadel class of 2024. He hails from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Now, Mercer is an intelligence and security studies major and is a member of the Rifle Legion. Cadet Mercer, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Our second panelist is Cadet Captain Robert Brabston, Citadel class of 2021. Cadet Brabston is a senior from Fairfax, Virginia, and he's pursuing a double major in history and intelligence and security studies. Cadet Brabston serves as a captain of the rifle team, as well as the Palmetto Battery Honor Representative. He is actively pursuing an Army career as either an Army intelligence officer or a field artillery officer. Cadet Brabston, welcome to the program.
Good evening, sir. Glad to be here.
Our third guest of the evening is Lieutenant Colonel Brendan Cooney, Citadel class of 2002, who holds both an undergraduate degree in criminal justice from the Citadel, as well as earned additional degrees from Cornell and Carnegie Mellon universities. He hails originally from Louisville, Kentucky. He served extensively in the National Guard and was deployed after the tragic events of 9/11. Brendan served with the National Guard and Army Reserve during peacetime and deployed to help victims in a number of domestic natural disasters, including Hurricane Katrina. Some highlights of his extensive military career include military police company commander, base provost marshal in Kosovo, and chief of insider threat for the office of the chief, and an ROTC instructor at the Citadel. He currently serves as the joint operations officer within the Joint Chiefs of Staff. We appreciate you being with us tonight, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
And lastly, our fourth guest of the evening is Major General Stephen Smith, Citadel class of 1975. Major General Smith served in the United States for over 39 years on active duty in the Army National Guard, as well as in the Army Reserves. General Smith has had an influential career spanning business and government assignments and encompassing increasingly authoritative positions. His most recent role was Senior Military Advisor to the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Army, Manpower and Reserve Affairs, where he counseled the Assistant Secretary on all training, readiness, and mobilization issues for the Army. He has also served in numerous industry executive positions to include a Senior Director of Global Client Services to the Information Technical Group at Convergys Corporation, as well as a Senior Management Consultant at Barclays Bank International as Vice President of OES and Associates. He also serves as the President of the Citadels Club of Greater Washington. That's there in D.C. General, thank you for joining us tonight, sir. We appreciate your time.
Glad to be here, Seamus. Thanks for asking.
It's going to be an exciting event for all of our Virginia candidates. This is a prime, one of our important states that we have cadets coming from in droves each and every year. Despite VMI, they make a smart choice and head south to Charleston. So there's a great opportunity for us to connect and share stories about being a Virginian and coming to the Citadel. We're going to be watching a variety of Citadel cadet videos throughout the evening, and then we're going to sit around and talk about them. Our panelists will share their personal experience, and I'm certain that we're going to have an opportunity to really convey the depth and the importance of these various concepts throughout the evening. I think the first place to start the evening is to talk, and this is more on the admission side, is to talk return on investment, the fundamentals when students are considering college choices. What are the most important elements or measuring sticks, the metrics that resonate with candidates? And so we're going to start there. U.S. News & World Reports has ranked the Citadel the #1 public university in the South for 10 straight years. This is a designation that we're very proud of. It measures the college in a variety of critical ways. Graduation rates, employment rates, alumni giving are among the top 3 elements in that review. But that is something, again, to achieve for a decade straight demonstrates our commitment to excellence here at the Citadel. For all the engineering candidates out there, we do harbor a top 20 engineering school. In fact, there was a stint there for a 5-year span that was not long ago that we had every single Citadel graduate for a 4-year stretch at graduation employed professionally. That's pretty impressive. One of the key things that people want to mark is how long are you in college here at the Citadel? This is not a 6-year institution. This is a 4-year institution. Here's a quick marker on this as well as the employment side. Within 3 months of graduation, better than 90% of our graduates are professionally employed. That's 25% above the national average. So that's a very, very strong position. Another key metric to understand about the culture of academics on the campus is the comparison of Division I athletic graduation rates and non-athletic graduations. At the Citadel, they are equal. Let me repeat. At the Citadel, our Division I athletes and the non-athletes graduate at the same rate, and that's an exceptional level. You don't see parity in those categories often at all. And in fact, I would encourage our candidates to ask this question at all the colleges they're looking into, to understand that the academic environment here at the Citadel permeates every last cadet environment. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're coming to be a commissioned officer, or you have no interest in either, this is a keen outcome that is consistent. 81% of our folks receive financial aid. This includes $14 million annually in ROTC scholarship monies. Here's the big one. What are our average graduates' salaries at graduation? Last year's average salary was just under $57,000 coming off the line. That's impressive. If you're taking on student debt, and that's a big equation part of all college considerations, you want to make sure that you're employable, number one, and number two, earning enough to pay back on those loans and service them accurately. So this is the challenge that we've got here, is that we are committed to making sure that we have excellent graduation rates and that our folks find quick traction in their professional careers. But there's another element that I think is a real draw point for candidates considering the Citadel is the academic environment here at the Citadel. For many decades now, the Citadel has maintained a 12-to-1 student-faculty ratio. And that's something that, again, is a cultural norm here. It's a really, really critical element of our success. And I think it's something that draws both our faculty and the students here at the Citadel. The largest of classrooms in the freshman environment for the largest of our degrees will have 30-something students in them. I happen to be an English major here at the Citadel, and I had a host of different classes that were in a round table style. So you can see that the ballpark average is roughly 20 students in a class. But oftentimes in your senior classes and junior classes, it's much smaller. So this is something that, again, you have to see value in. Big colleges, obviously, your first classes, your 101s, you're going to be in auditoriums. You don't have the interaction in those environments that our cadets do. And I think that's a real benefit to our folks who are considering the Citadel. Another thing to be mindful of is that our faculty are attracted to this environment very intrinsically. They are seeking the kind of relationship and connection to the cadets that our environment provides. 96% of our faculty do hold their terminal degrees. So you're being taught by faculty who also teach in the graduate level at the Citadel. So there is a seamless transition of knowledge that they're embarking in imbuing upon the cadets for all 4 years, so that if they do go on to graduate school immediately following graduation, there's a seamless reentry on that. But again, I think the relationship aspect and the mentorship that plays such a keen role in cadet success is something that greatly attracts the wonderful faculty that serve the Citadel. There's another element that really provides the linchpin for success, and the Citadel Club of Greater Washington plays a critical role in this end, an emblematic role in this end, I should say. And that is our career services approach to success. How do we find jobs for our cadets? For us, it is a 4-year enterprise. We're lucky enough to have a distinguished director over there of career services. Her name is Paige Tisdale. She's a firebrand of intelligence, of enthusiasm, and just a darn hard worker on behalf of these cadets, all 4 years. So let's take a moment to get to know Paige. Roll the tape.
There's never a day where I'm not excited about educating students on opportunities. I'm Paige Tisdale. I'm director of the Citadel Career Center. So I think because I really enjoy what I do, I hope to empower students to be able to find that, because a lot of people don't find it right out. It's not something that you just often fall into, right? Sometimes your path is a little windy. And I'm lucky that I have found it, and so I want to empower students to do the same thing, to find something they're passionate about. You know, I think young people have a lot of options. Obviously, coming to the Citadel is a very tough choice, and life at the Citadel is not easy. And so if you're choosing to come here, I think you're already buying in from day one that, I'm going to work really, really hard for the end goal. Not just the ring and not just to graduate, but partnering with us, that professional end goal. And so it's a very personal thing to me. Sometimes I get a little bit of pushback of, hey, you can't reach everybody. And I guess my response to that is, why not? To me, that's the reason that a career center exists. And so I grew up understanding and really loving the Citadel and knowing what it was all about, and really our mission to educate principal leaders. I believe in that, and I believe what we're doing here. And what I would say is that the employers, they buy into. So I'm really, really passionate about getting students connected early, planting the seed, looping back around sophomore year, junior year, so they're exploring, preparing, and engaging all along. So I'm passionate about it because if students start early, it really helps them get connected to career outcomes the day they walk across the stage.
So moving beyond these keen statistics and getting to know Paige and understanding that it's a 4-year enterprise, there's something else that really makes us greatly successful in placing our students in great employment opportunities. And I think this is really fundamentally linked to the leadership development process here at the Citadel. There's just no other way to look at this. And for us at the Citadel, the first year is a pivotal year. It is the forge. It is the challenging year. Cadet Howard will talk about this in a bit, but it is the year that really challenges our students to grow into teammates, and serving self is secondary to serving others. It is a critical element. So there's a great video that we're going to take a look at. It'll be the first one that we'll kind of review and start to have some conversations about. And this is reviewing the cadet who is tracking through his first year and is now progressing into recognition day. Roll the video.
I expected the Citadel to be difficult, structured. I expected to have a routine. The only thing that was different for me that I didn't expect was the intensity. I'm Aaron Daniger, and I'm a 4th class cadet. All year, everybody talked about recognition day, the gauntlet. I was excited. I was finally here.
Give this everything you got. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Don't leave anything left out on that field. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Go until you can't go anymore. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Let's go.
And when we went outside, we ran to the first station with the ropes and the burpees, and that was it. I was just into it. Everything else didn't matter. I knew it was going to be hard, and I was correct. I was in pain, I was hurting, I was sweating pretty bad. I was at that point where I was almost relieved. I wasn't there yet, but I knew it was coming. I kind of felt that feeling like I'm almost there, a couple more stations, we do the victory lap, I go in, I do my push-ups, and I'm right there. I'm so close. When we get in the barracks and we get down to do our push-ups, and I've got my classmates on my left and my right, all I could remember was just trying to keep count, trying to just keep pushing. And then we start bracing, and I heard the bagpipes, and I'm not gonna lie, I was tearing up a little bit. I'd made it. That was it. And 4th class system's no longer in effect, and the chin came right out. The next day, we marched down to Marion Square, and we renewed our oath. And it was an unbelievable experience.
As long as I remain a member of the Corps of Cadets.
The biggest lesson I've learned this year would definitely be keeping unity, even through the hard times. We all ran through trials and tribulations. That was the point of the process, was to test you and to, train you and make you stronger.
The knob year is most certainly a galvanizing year, the proverbial forge, where these lifelong friendships are made. We have Cadet Howard here, who is a knob, who's approaching the halfway point in his knob year journey. So congratulations on that front. Knob Howard, what do you think about watching this video? What emotions are evoked watching this?
Well, sir, I will say that I have seen that video before, and I remember when I first saw it, I saw the gauntlet process, and I was absolutely just terrified. I saw it, and I was like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I said, well, I was like, wow, I don't know if I can actually make it to that. And then sort of as I progress here, We go through, we PT so often every week. I've done some PT on my own, and I've sort of, as time goes on, I realized, okay, maybe I really can do this. Because there was one instance where my squad leader took a few of us to Days Hall, the recreational gym, and he circled us up and put a card deck in the middle of the floor and said, number on the card is what you're doing, and gave certain values for the face cards. And we went through that whole deck, and once we finished it, I kind of thought to myself, well, a class of 124 push-ups, can't be that I just did 420 of them. So, but yeah, I just, when I see that video, I just it just gives me so much hope as to this is really that's what it's coming to. And I find myself, whenever I think about that, I just find myself excited that I can just run out there with my classmates, put it all on the parade deck, and just get through.
Well, the congratulations to you. Well, for our viewers to understand, the first 10 days at the Citadel are really grueling. We affectionately call it Hell Week, but it's called Challenge Week officially on campus. But it's a challenging indoctrination process, and it is the first crucible. And obviously, you've persevered through this semester. This has been an extraordinarily unusual semester. COVID has placed burdens on your class that have never been seen in the Citadel's history, in the sense that you've had to quarantine, and there's been long periods of isolation and such. And so the mental challenges that you've had to overcome, kudos for your success thus far. I hope you're getting ready to study for your finals. Obviously, this is a critical period academically, but I'm going to move on to Cadet Brabston. Talk to us about your own experiences when you think back on Knob Year. It wasn't that long ago that you were going through that very thing right there.
Knob Year was one of the harder things I've ever had to do. It's a little bit different now just because of the realities of, the mess hall has changed in my time being here. It's certainly transformative. It lets you appreciate things more at face value. And it gives you that confidence. I think that's really key. It gives you a lot. For as much as people talk about being broken down during Knob Year, it's incredibly important to build, to be broken down so that you get built up even stronger. The Army follows that same sort of thing with the different phases and basic training, and our Knob system is modeled off that in some ways, and I think they do a really good job of it. You'll be much stronger and much better off having done and gone through a system like that than you would be if you didn't.
General, does this video bring you back to your Knob Year? Do you remember? Does this take you back a little bit? What do you think?
Painfully, I'm not sure I could do that now, but I will tell you that the cadets that have just spoken, really hit the nail on the head. You break down as an individual and you're built back up as a team. And it's that principled leadership training that you get that absolutely gives you an unfair advantage, whether you go into the military like I did or whether you go into a civilian career, because you've already been through it at age 18 or thereabouts. And, when you get that values-based education that the general talked about in the first video, you add all that together, that's pretty strong. And that is a strong video. I was starting to perspire a little bit, watching some of that. So it did kind of brought back a lot of memories. Thank you.
Colonel Cooney, how about you? Is it bringing you back a little bit?
Yeah, every time I see it, I enjoy it, and it seems just like yesterday, even though it's been about almost 20 years now. And for me, being part of the Guard there in Charleston, I was lucky enough to go back and teach ROTC for about 2.5 years on an ADSW tour. So that was different as well, to see the difference between cadet life and then the other side, which was much better. And to make a difference, not only teaching class, but also to be in the barracks as an ADO, to do room inspections and to do some mentoring.
Thank you for that, Colonel. We're going to move on to our next video, which is a great video that outlines a cadet leader on the field and off the field. Her name is Cadet Kate Manzioni, and she's a soccer athlete here at the Citadel. And her physicality is definitely present. She plays a physical soccer game, but is a real players coach. She takes a lot of the freshman players under her wing. She mentors them and invests in them, and you'll see this in the video. So we're going to watch this now.
I first started playing soccer when I was 4. I was like, this is the sport for me. I love the competition and the aggression that I can just take out on the field. I'm Kate Manzione, and I play center back for the Citadel soccer team. So our team is known for having heart and being gritty and getting after it and being physical. And that's something that our opponents really take into account, and they are never stepping up to the field thinking that this is going to be an easy game. It's always physical. It's always a battle, and that's what I love about my team. Being the last line of defense is really important because it's just you and the goalie at the end of the day. She relies on me, I rely on her, and that's a bond that is really special on the field. I can come into this locker room and know that there are 30 girls in this locker room that would do anything for me, and I would do anything for them. Being a leader on the field and being a leader in the Corps is really similar because you're not only a team on the field, literally, but you're also a team in the Corps. I mean, your company, your squad, your platoon, you're all a team. The whole Corps is a team. And the leadership that I saw in the Corps really helped me to be a leader on the field. I've seen myself change in so many ways. The person that I was 3 years ago wouldn't recognize the person that I was today, and I'm extremely proud of that. I really grew as a person as well as a player. What keeps me motivated as a leader is knowing that I'm training my replacement, and I want that replacement to be better than I was before. I have potential to be something greater than I am, and that's what I'm really reaching for.
Physicality is a big part of the Citadel cadet cycle here, whether it's Division I athletics or it's club athletics or it's intramurals. Afternoon intramurals are a great way that our cadets compete with their home companies. All the cadets are assigned to a company, but this is a great opportunity to blow off steam after a long day of academic grind. My freshman year, our company commander, his name was John Harrison. He was the starting pitcher on the Citadel's World Series baseball team the previous year. He commanded 130 plus cadets, and he was a Gold Star, a Dean's List student all 4 years. So he exemplified what it means to be a cadet leader, and that he balanced his time exceptionally well. When he was gone with athletics, the XO stepped into the role seamlessly. So he was a good delegator, but also an exceptional leader in this regard. And I think that's something for our viewers to understand, is that you can pursue lots of different aspirational goals while you're here at the Citadel, and you just learn to time manage it at a very, very effective role. I'm going to start with you, Cadet Brabston, being that you're a Division I athlete here at Citadel and you're captain of the rifle team. In fact, you've got a competition this weekend. How do you balance this time that you have to dedicate to athletic competition and academics? How do you manage that?
Very carefully. All jokes aside, it takes a lot of mental dexterity. You have to be able to understand that you have your homework assignment. You have to understand your practice requirements. And then you also, as a captain, you have to make sure that other people are doing the same thing as well. So if there's any discipline issues, anything like that, you're also supposed to look after that person as well. Cadet Manzioni kind of hits the nail on the head with it when she talks about mentoring the people that are behind you, because you want the team to be better when you leave. So in my time that I've been here, we've been actively recruiting people who we think will bring the caliber of the team up. And I think we've done that pretty successfully. And, it doesn't feel like work when you love doing what you're doing. So that's kind of the best thing that I could say about that.
I think the cadet leadership model here at the Citadel talks about investing in your team equally. That's a key part of it. For any of our aspirants who are thinking about the rifle team, we have an amazing facility on this campus that you can find if you Google search, but there is a tremendous facility that we share with local law enforcement, but it allows our cadets to travel or to train in a top tier environment on a daily basis. I played club lacrosse here, and that was a great release valve for me. I enjoyed that a lot. Did any of our other panelists participate in any group sports, or was it just intramurals?
Intramurals for me.
Got it.
Yeah, there's just a few intramurals.
Got it. Cadet Howard, I want to start with you. What's your favorite intramural? Talk to us a little bit about the competitive nature of afternoon intramurals. How do they play out?
I've only done it a couple times. I really only did kickball, but even during that, it was just a good time to kickball was the first intramural that we had. It was just kind of a good time to just sort of do something physical outside of regimental PT and just really just have fun with my classmates.
And we've been wise enough to, and this is the thing, is that the discipline and rigorous approach to dealing with COVID it doesn't leave this campus. Mask wearing is a keen part of the life cycle. Spacing, even in the sports, in the intramural sports, we normally have tag football, touch football, and they have developed kind of an ultimate frisbee type approach on flag football. So there's innovative ways to get around the safety protocols that are in place that still allow these cadets to compete, represent their company, work with their classmates, and also blow off that steam, because you do take 18 plus credit hours here at the Citadel, and it's a demanding academic environment. One of the things I think the video really demonstrates continually, and we talked a little bit about this, is servant leadership, is investing in those subordinates. It's really a keen part of it. When you find an opportunity to give, you do so. Our senior leaders are held highly accountable, and a keen part of their measuring stick of success is how much they invest in their team. What are they doing for their team each and every day? The next video that we're going to take a look at is Cadet Chad Deckold, who found himself in a position of opportunity to serve. It was a moment when Charleston was facing down a potential hurricane disaster, and he found an opportunity to rally some cadets and make meaningful change in the local community here. So without further ado, we're going to meet Chad Deckold.
I'm Chad Deckold, and I volunteered at a Red Cross shelter during Hurricane Florence. The cadet leadership of the Citadel, we were closely watching the progress of Hurricane Florence.
The preparations are intense right now at the port of Charleston. And
we saw that as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. It was potentially on a direct collision course with Charleston. It certainly made us realize that this was a truly serious issue. Well, my first thought was, as a battalion commander, was how can I get my cadets to safety first? The next thought was, how can we help out the greater Charleston community with this incoming hurricane? And I knew that I just couldn't sit by while our community was threatened. So myself and 5 other cadets helped out at a Red Cross shelter. And when we got there, we first noticed that the shelter was overwhelmed with about 200 more people than they expected. We had to help take over management of the entire shelter, counting how much food, how much water they had, making sure that everyone was properly supplied, and helping the managers deal with the large overflow of people. As the shifts wore on, especially as it got into the later hours, we certainly felt that fatigue and that exhaustion. But to look at the people at the shelter, realize kind of the magnitude of the problems that they were facing as their homes were threatened, it was truly humbling. Sometimes you have this expectation as a leader that it's always you that's teaching your followers, the people that are under you. It's you that's the primary influencer. But what this experience taught me, watching how the Knobs sacrificed their time and how willing they were to serve, was that your followers can absolutely inspire you as a leader. The Citadel kind of instills in you this kind of ethos that there's always something greater than you. It's your duty to look out for those around you. That duty is not just limited to cadets at the Citadel. Recently, I received my ring after many years of waiting, and one of the things that first struck me was how heavy it weighed. Not just physically on my hand, but there's just kind of this weight of obligation that you have. And the fact that, as I graduate and move forward into my career as an Army officer, that ring will still be there, and there'll be that expectation that I have to uphold, those same values that those cadets, those mentors had instilled in me during my 4 years here.
The Citadel's commandant, retired Navy SEAL Captain Peluso, spent his entire operational career commanding SEALs, and he has continued this tradition on campus of really driving home the mission of service to our local community, to fellow cadets, to fellow athletes on campus. It's a real critical part of the life cycle here at the Citadel. One element that embodies this on an annual basis is the Citadel's Leadership Day. I'm going to start with you, Cadet Brabston, in that you've had a few of these under your belt. Can you share with our viewers what Leadership Day is and maybe a favorite memory you've had from the past 3 years of participation?
Yes, sir. One thing to note about Chad Deckold is that he actually ended up getting a sportsman scholarship and went to China and got a master's degree. So just a little extra on him. Great cadet, great guy. Anyway, Leadership Day. So generally speaking, what it is that the whole Corps goes out and engages it with the Charleston community. We go out and do something with either a school, or maybe you build houses with like Habitats for Humanity, or you go to the food bank and do something like that. The whole point is to do service for the community. Both years, I think, or all 3 years that I did it, I ended up at a elementary school, and just being able to interact with the people of Charleston was a pretty fun experience. Just like, it's just another way to get out and show yourself to a side of, like, the next generation of people who are going to live in Charleston, and just creating that good environment and leaving Charleston and our relationship with Charleston in a better state than when we got it. And I think it's a really good thing that we do Leadership Day and get out in the community.
I see it as the practicing part of the preaching, in that Captain Peluso is not heavy on talk; he's heavy on action, and the cadets have to embody this. And I think this lesson lands pretty firmly, not only in our athletic competition, but throughout the military training, and ultimately when our folks commission and go off to business opportunities. That this mentality tends to take impact immediately for our graduates when they land in their duty stations or their first jobs or that first graduate college opportunity. It's great to hear about Cadet Deckold's academic opportunities in China. That's outstanding. He's obviously a commissioned officer in the Army, but that's outstanding. He was selected for that opportunity. It's certainly going to further his military career there. General, you've had a tremendous series of commands in your 39 plus years in service in the Army. The selfless leadership model. Are there any special moments? And I'm sure there's a lot, and it's hard to sift through them all, but are there any particular keen moments that you can kind of reflect upon that brought you pride in seeing this kind of ideal carried out, not only by your soldiers, but maybe directly in the command rooms?
Wow, that's a great question. The first thing that popped into my mind is I had my last deployment. I was the theater signal commander, in CENTCOM. And in my forward base at Camp Phoenix, Afghanistan, I had a Citadel grad in my command, and on his off time, which was not a lot, they had organized a toy drive for an orphanage. And when there's prolonged war, there's a lot of orphans. And in Afghanistan, electricity is not very prevalent, so it had to be wooden toys and old-fashioned toys, and this was not a requirement, for the job that this young lieutenant had, but it was just a passion. And I think it goes back from, the greater good. It starts with that tearing down of the individual and building back the team. But, part of the Army values that I grew up with is selfless service. And so giving more of yourself for the greater good, I think, is a core value that was spoken about previously. But that's the first thing that pops into my mind. One of the wildest things is I've been seemingly all over the world except for the Far East. and always running into a Citadel grad, and I ran into a Citadel graduate who was a major in the Jordanian army. And I would never have, counted on that. And although, our ages were vastly different, our stories were very similar. And the kinship or the friendship, those bonds that you have from going through your freshman year and finishing up will last your lifetime.
General, those are great stories, and thank you. I know that you have another commitment that's going to take you in a few minutes, but thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and we have one video that you'll see maybe in the tail end here that I think you'll really enjoy. It's our next video. I'm going to have one final question on this here. I'm going to engage Cadet Howard, our freshman, our knob here at the Citadel, in that you're in a challenging you're in the first half of that first year. Talk to us a little bit about what you've seen with your classmates on the selfless side. Is there a service element you see to trying to see group success? No, we might have a technical difficulty.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, we got you. Did you get the question?
Okay.
Make sure you got the question.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So what I've discovered here is that you don't have to have a rank, you don't have to have a title to be a leader here. I noticed that with my classmates, with my company, we've come to basically see each other as a family, as a second family. Like if I ever need anything, essentially, I can go to my classmates and just be like, hey, can you all help me out? And I know at least 3 of them will always answer and be like, yeah, sure, let's help.
I mean, that's a natural part of it. And the tight nature, you've had a little different experience because some of the isolation is prevented some of this, but I think that deepens the relationship, particularly with roommates. And the first 2 weeks you were here, you were quarantined in your room aside from training directly. Is that accurate to say?
Yes, sir. I will say that that regulation got bent a little bit because when it came down to a few things, we sort of had to hop rooms a little bit just for the sake of an operational standpoint. But yeah, for the most part, we were isolated to our rooms. We had to be like really careful about how we interact with each other. It was just really hard to deal with. I know for at least like the first couple of days of challenge week, the only conversations I ever had were with my roommate. And then a few days in, the commandant authorized use of cell phones when not during training period. So I, briefly called my parents, but just to let them know that I was still alive. But other than that, yeah, the isolation certainly, I believe it made it added some extra time to that relationship building process. But in the end, we've all sort of come together. We're all one company, one family.
And that's only going to grow. You're at the tip of the iceberg. You have 3.5 years that are going to continue to cultivate these relationships. And I promise you'll be snapping your finger and you'll be 15, 20 years away from the Citadel. And the immediacy of the friendships and the bonds you built with these people will be just as keen as they are right now. So that's something to look forward to. But congratulations on the halfway marker. We're going to move on to a traditional aspect of what it means to be a Citadel cadet, a graduate. What are the intrinsic traditions? There's lots of things that change on a continual basis here at the Citadel, but there are these underlying rivers that flow beneath the bedrock, and these things are the true traditions here at the Citadel. One of them is service to your family, service to your country, service to yourself, and doing your best. The next video we're going to watch, in general, I think you'll enjoy this one on your way out, follows the story of a young man by the name of Cadet Marcus Milhouse, an exceptional cadet. He's gone on to commission in the Air Force, but his story and getting to the Citadel and serving and why he came to the Citadel, I think, is really inspirational. So without further ado, we're going to meet Marcus.
There's a verse in the Citadel alma mater that goes, and in the paths our Father showed us, follow without fear. And for me, every time I heard that, every time I saw it on paper, it just stuck out at me because it was like the author was telling me that your dad went here, your dad had the courage to do what he did. Now it's your turn. It's my turn to embody the same courage that he had when he was here and tackle everything head on. I'm Marcus Milhouse, so I decided to come to the Citadel to honor my dad's legacy. My dad passed away a week before my 7th birthday. I was really young, but and we had a very close relationship. Wherever he was, I was with him. And every time he went into the car, I ran into the passenger seat just to be with him. He and I were like two peas in a pod. It was a certain feeling that knowing my dad was right beside me as I was coming into the battalion. And I felt so much motivation, and I was so proud to be here just to honor his legacy that I felt like I could tackle the world. So during Challenge Week, my 9th year, I was introduced to the gospel choir. I didn't know much about the Citadel, so when I heard the gospel choir, I thought that was something I knew from home that I could carry with me here to Citadel. I knew I would need that inspiration, I need some of that strength that's in gospel music to help me go through my journey here at the Citadel. So I found that inspiration in the gospel choir, and not just in the music itself, but in the people. And the people in the gospel choir, along with the other ministries on campus, have been my rock here on campus. I keep pictures of my dad in my room and in my car, and I think about my dad every day. You don't have to have family here, you don't have to have your dad, you don't have to have your uncle, but when you come to the Citadel, you make good friendships. You establish, what your values are, and look to mentor other people who are coming behind you. That's where your Citadel starts. That becomes your Citadel story. And I thank God for making my Citadel story since I've been here.
It's an inspirational video, and I enjoy watching it every time. I've seen it less than 10 times in my life here, but it's each and every time is poignant because it speaks to me about a cadet that I knew. Cadets come to the Citadel from all backgrounds, different environments. My roommate freshman year was from Thailand, and there was great sacrifice in his life to come here to the Citadel and be successful. And he's a tremendous, he's a full bird colonel in the Thai Army and off to the races. But there are so many traditions that exist here at the Citadel, and one of them is manifested in the alumni side. This alumni community that we love so much, that's so passionate about the Citadel, that's so passionate in supporting cadets, they directly manifest this support. The Citadel Club of Greater Washington has a direct professional linkage to career services. They have in place set professional development opportunities, internships each and every year that the club leverages all of the members in their various professional careers and environments to find these offerings for our cadet population on an annual basis. So the cadets make great use of this to leverage, to network, to grow professionally. Lieutenant Colonel Cooney serves as the recruiting officer for the Citadel Club of Greater Washington. And in this role, you get to meet a lot of these cadets. You participate in hosting a cadet send-off event each and every summer, and various meetings where the clubs welcome back cadets during the fall break. And that connection point is another great tradition here. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about what it means to be an alumnus serving in a Citadel Club and providing this direct support to our cadets?
Of course, thank you. And that's probably one of the greatest things about going to the Citadel is being part of a huge family. Other cadets have said the same. You get to come in as a freshman, as a knob, and you don't know anybody, then you create this family out of nothing that you have for the next 4 years and then throughout the rest of your life. And not every school has that. If you go to a local school, University of South Carolina, University of Virginia, something like that, you might have 1,000 people in your class and not be friends with any of them. And the bonds that you forge at school, you get to carry that through your life. And we find that very beneficial here in DC, as alumni always come through here for job opportunities. So whether you're military, you're a government contractor, you're going for office, you're federal law enforcement, and you want to go FBI or whatever the case is, chances are you find yourself in the Washington, D.C. area. So it's great for us because that means we have more people coming into the club, and it's also great for networking. So if you're an alumni and you move to D.C., you can always know somebody or send a resume to somebody and say, hey, I'm in the area, what events do you have? or, hey, I'm in the area, I'm a grad, what kind of jobs do you have? And then we know where you've come from because we wear the ring as well, and we can help with that aspect. But for the camaraderie piece, it's great as well. We do the monthly meetings. We have a panel breakfast every month with a different topic and guest speaker. We do baseball games here, hunting, the muster, which brings about 150 graduates each year to pay respects to those who died throughout the year. And then, as Seamus mentioned, the summer in DC internship program. So as a cadet, you have an opportunity to compete for and earn an internship in the Washington, D.C. area in the summer. So that's beneficial to the cadet because it looks good on the resume. You're earning course credit, and you're working a job, and you're making contacts that you can use after you graduate to find a job, or just contacts in the club that you can use for friends or for networking. And in that internship program, which is 8 weeks long, they go to class, they stay at Catholic University, and they also get to go on different visits that many do not normally get to do. White House, for example, Pentagon, Capitol, Arlington National Cemetery. So that is a great opportunity for cadets. Now, I've been here a few years, coming from Charleston. I came up here for a federal police officer job myself. So that's a network inside of a network, if you will, because there's many grads that are criminal justice majors that come up to join FBI or Secret Service. I teach and train the Pentagon Police. So it's beneficial to have that alumni association for that professional network in addition to the camaraderie.
I think one of the things that's really functionally important for all of our viewers to understand is that this ring that we wear, and you heard it in the video, there's a weight to wearing this ring. It is not just a good old boy network. This is a network predicated on expectation and accountability. When you shake another graduate's hand from one alumnus to another, there is a keen expectation. The first time you meet someone, there's trust, number one. And number two, there is grave expectation on professionalism and hard work. The honor side is really, really important. And we have a member of the honor court here, Cadet Brabston. You could talk about the time honored tradition of holding to the honor code. Can you tell our viewers what our honor code is at the Citadel and a brief synopsis of your role on the honor committee?
Oh, absolutely, sir. I love to talk about honor stuff. So the honor code at the Citadel is cadet does not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. And personally, I have a little extended piece to it where I say a cadet ensures the full truth is known. Honor is the most important, arguably the most important thing that you can do here. I happen to be pretty close acquaintances with the only guy who's ever been chief of staff of the Army twice, Pete Schumacher. And he said something to me that was really profound before I came here. He said, your integrity and your word, meaning your honor, is something that no one can ever take away from you, but something that you can give away. So the moment you lie, the moment you cheat, the moment you steal, you give away that honor. You give that away, and it's almost impossible to get back. The honor court here, at least with my classmates who are running it right now, we take it really seriously. We've actually been amending and adding certain pieces to the honor code as we see fit, and we're going to actually submit that to the Corps to vote on next semester. At least that's our target. And I can tell you I'm really busy with it, but it's something that's vitally important. We're one of the few student-run honor codes in the country. We're different from all the service academies in that we're a one-strike system. You get it, you're out. If you get found in violation of an honor violation, you're pretty much getting the next bus on the way out. We have no use for you if you're going to lie, cheat, or steal and take away from the honor that our institution represents.
Again, this comes back to the ring, and you've got a little more weight on your hand. How does that feel? How's that adjustment for your right hand there?
Sometimes, it's been great. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Cadet Howard, it won't be long. Hang in there, buddy. You're going to get your ring soon enough. Just keep treading and walking the walk. Because of time, I'm going to move on to our next video, which is really, really important, especially for all of our candidates who are considering military service. It's going to follow another interesting cadet. His name is Rene Valentine. He came to the Citadel it was a challenge for him to get to the Citadel, and he made good on his promise to himself. And he found the Citadel family and community and ended up doing quite well. And he is commissioned successfully as a Marine Corps officer. And I think watching his journey is a testament to we are the senior of the senior military colleges, and we have an extraordinarily number of, in fact, I think we're on target this year to have the highest number of Army commissionees outside of West Point. So it's, again, a testament to the environment here at the Citadel, to the professionalism and expectation the U.S. government has on the processes of preparation that we have for our commissioned officers. But Cadet Rene Valentine is an exceptional young man, and I think that'll come across in this video. So let's watch the video on Rene.
Life is going to be filled with obstacles, failures, and successes, and you've really got to take it one evolution, one conflict at a time. I'm Rene Valentine, and I'm commissioning into the Marine Corps as a second lieutenant. Some of the obstacles I faced in life really revolve around my relationship with my mom and our military service. We've had to move to a lot of places, unique experiences. It's been incredible. It's also been really hard at times, and she has sacrificed a lot to get me here. I really wanted the idea of my brothers, my family, maybe a father figure. I found my family and way more at the Citadel, way more I could have asked for. Obviously, Nabir was probably a shock. My very first time in Charleston was the day I showed up. There's this constant atmosphere of trying to be better than last year, be better than last week, be better than yesterday. This constant development where there are new expectations, new responsibilities, new heights to achieve, and you're gonna fail sometimes. I've definitely failed sometimes, but it's that constant battle to just be better tomorrow, be stronger tomorrow, be faster tomorrow. It's an obstacle, but it's also potential. There have been so many different kinds of transformation for me specifically. I walked in as this very skinny, not so confident dude from across the Pacific. I'm a senior now at the Citadel, and I feel confident in my capabilities. I know I have potential. I'm looking at the brink of military service. There's forward guidance. I know where I'm headed because of the Citadel. One of the quotes I live by is, "Today will be different." It goes back to yesterday, last week, last year, anything that's happened before. All you can do is build upon it and look forward to today and tomorrow.
I encourage all of our viewers who are considering the Citadel, who are thinking about military service, obviously, to be pursuing ROTC scholarships. We have staff members in each of the ROTC detachments that are poised and ready to help you. If you need their contact information, you can reach out to Josh or myself. But there's also a very supportive process for cadets who discover this desire to serve while they're cadets. Each of those officers serve directly to build packets and prepare and build the candidacy of those individuals for ROTC scholarships while they are cadets. So that's a really important understanding here at the Citadel. Is all of our cadet corps is required to take ROTC for a minimum of 3 years, I believe. And then you transition, if you're not pursuing a commission, into senior leadership courses. But there's a key ethos here of success in helping find those opportunities for our cadets who work hard academically first and foremost and prepare themselves otherwise. When you think back on what you've watched tonight, there's a couple recurring themes. One of them is commitment to others and service to others. But there's a more base and important functional key to success here. at the Citadel, and that simply boils into this idea that was communicated by General Walters at the top of the hour, and it's symbolized in this idea of it's simply taking grit. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to dive into a quick Q&A. I know that we're running out of time here, so we want to make sure that we're staying on point here. We're due to conclude at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've already hit that marker, so we're gonna move to our Q&A. And remember to stick around and with your phones to scan that QR code to pick up your Citadel pennant. These were custom designed for these events, so it's something to keep mindful of and as we conclude rapidly here. We have a few questions, Josh. If you'll field them, we'll dive into these things and conclude the evening.
Sure thing, Seamus. Thanks a lot. The first question that came in was, do you wear uniforms every day? So we'll start with our cadets. Mr. Howard, do you wear uniforms every day? This is a good question to start with you.
Yes, at all hours. Civilian clothes are not allowed in the slightest, especially for knobs.
Excellent. And how far does that reach? Like when you're off campus, what does that mean, Mr. Brabson?
So to say that you wear a uniform all day, so that's kind of a knob thing. That you have what's called broke uniform, so you are allowed to wear your favorite PJs when you go to bed. For classes, it's whenever you have an official duty. That's when you wear a uniform. For around campus, I think it's 10 miles. And it's longer for knobs. If I remember right, it's extended for that.
We always said 2 bridges, but I don't think that was an official rule. That was just you had to go 2 bridges, which in Charleston is pretty, it has a distance to it.
We have another question about what a rack looks like. Cadet Brabson, can you show what that bottom rack looks like with your camera potentially? Can you angle that so we can see what that rack looks like?
Let me see if I can get it. So that's what our rack looks like right there. It's got a blue sheet right here, and then there's just white sheets, and then there's a pillow. And then you can also have blankets and stuff down here.
So what happens is cadets will have their hospital cornered racks tightly made, and then they will roll out a bedspread on top to keep it ready to go in the morning. They'll hop out of the rack early in the morning and quickly get ready. I know Knob Howard has done that every day he's been here, so that's a keen part of the life cycle here. I don't know if we have any more questions, Josh. Are there any more in the hopper?
We don't, Seamus, and that's what we've got for this round.
Great. So, folks, make sure you stick around for that QR code. We're going to put it up immediately following this video that we're going to launch here. But on behalf of the Citadel, I want to thank our panelists. I want to thank all of our viewers who are tuned in tonight. I didn't have that opportunity. Let me make formal introduction of Josh Simon, my counterpart over here, class of 2008. If there are any questions that go on beyond, we're going to examine if any questions come in after the program. We will email those recipients or those individuals directly thereafter. If any are angled at cadets, we'll forward them on to the cadets to have them answer those questions. But thank you for your time. Panelists, thank you for your emotional investment tonight, and we appreciate that. I know we are diving into evening study period, but without further ado, we're going to take a look at 2020's Recognition Day. Take a look at this, Cadet Howard. This is going to be you in a few months.
On behalf of Citadel Admissions, we'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Please make this the beginning, the first conversation, if you will. We would love to hear from you. We have much more to tell you, many more stories to tell, and information to provide. So you can reach out to us at admissions@citadel.edu. You can visit us at prenob.com. All things, all visits, virtual and in person. We are open for in-person visits with masks and social distancing, and private tours with a cadet. Those are available. We'd love to hear from you. Please reach out and continue this conversation. Again, we'd like to thank all of our panelists for their time tonight and sharing of their stories. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. If you would like to apply, please follow this QR code to our application. It'll ask you to log in, and we'll get you going. And finally, the QR code for that pennant that we've been talking about, here it is again. And thank you very much, and good night.